Hey guys, so we have midpoint check-in day going on today. We have reached our autumnal equinox. We are halfway through our astrological lunar year that began with the spring equinox when the sun entered the sign of Aries this past March. And when we look at what is going on at the midway point of our year, it can help to give us a greater understanding of what might be likely to unfold throughout the second half of this year. And let me tell you guys, we got some very interesting energy being represented today in our equinox chart. We have the sun and Mercury actually coming to an exact conjunction, their Cazimi moment for our equinox day. This is likely to be a next 6-month period of time that is revealing a lot to us and helping us to reevaluate, reconsider, and come to some much greater understandings about some things that help us make some radical changes in regards to our personal preferences. Lots going on in this chart today, you guys. Let's get into this information, look at what we have going on, see how it might be playing out today for our equinox itself, and what we might be able to anticipate therefore over the remainder of this year. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Thursday, September 22nd, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is my analysis of the fall equinox energy that we have ongoing today. And I'm also going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out when I asked about where we're at in terms of this fall equinox and what we need to know moving throughout the course of this next several months. So we're going to be talking about that at the end of this report as well. But of course, we're going to start with the astrology, and we also have some interesting numerology going on today. You know, we are in this 222 year, and I feel like the sequences of twos as they've been presenting in the astrology alongside degree placement or dates or times while I'm looking at charts for specific significant occurrences and stuff, like for example our equinox chart today, I've been feeling like when I see sequences of twos popping up, it's letting us know that this is another more significant energetic day in terms of the vibrational shifts that are going on within us at this point in time that are really trying to help bring us back into alignment with our authentic truth and that which can really fill us up on a deep heart and soul based level and help us to come back into a greater contact with being able to magnetize and experience that which fills our cup like that in our actual lives. This is a very rare numerological year, and everything about it, especially also in the context of our transition into the age of Aquarius right now, is to me talking about a shift that is ongoing within us, like I said, for the purpose of helping us to realign with what is authentic and true to us so that universe, God, Great Spirit, however you look at it, can help to rearrange our lives in a way that are an authentic match for what it is that we are discovering that we truly need. And this 222 astrological year, we are coming to the midpoint of it today, and I feel like this is when the action is about to start happening for us in those regards. I feel like this first part of the year has been very much about maybe some breakdowns or maybe putting us in some like difficult situations that are causing us to sort of have to conquer our lower selves or like conquer our demons in some type of way, or like really showing us what we don't want through more difficult experiences that we may have been navigating. Also a lot of I feel like things have sort of, in one regard, been on a bit of a pause throughout the majority of the first half of this year. Like, yes, things are definitely happening and things have been happening, but I feel like it's been more about sort of like getting things like ready, set, you know what I mean? And then we're about to be at the go. Like, I feel like the first half of this year has been more about bringing us to a point energetically where we are prepared for the changes that are about to start happening now. And this is through this process of gaining this tremendous amount of self-awareness. I mean, as we started this year, you guys, one of the primary aspects that we were dealing with was a Neptune-Jupiter conjunction that we had going on, this like vastly expanding like our spiritual connection, and we've had an ongoing Uranus-Saturn square that has really been trying to help us like get back in touch with the truth of our authenticity and break ourselves free from anything that has been stifling our process of authentic growth. And we've just had a lot of transits going on that have been trying to reconnect us with the truth of who we really are so that we can become a more authentic embodiment of ourselves and actually be able to create a physical reality around us that is supportive of that process. Another aspect of this energy right now in this year that we're in with the North Node in Taurus, not only is it about discovering our authentic truth, but it's also about discovering the resources and the value and the potential that we hold inside of us, and helping us to gain an awareness and an awakening to that too, and then be able to know how to tap that and to cultivate that, to really like grow something with it that can provide something stable and tangible and like abundant and productive in the physical world, in the sign of Taurus, to like better our lives or stabilize our lives or to create beauty or abundance in our lives in some type of a way. Like that is really self-actualization. That is the process that this 2022 year and our transition into the age of Aquarius has been energetically trying to move us towards. And we are approaching the phase right now, phase 2 of this process, where, you know, we've been in like the discovery phase. We've been in the, you know, the cocoon type phase, I feel like. Also, you know, 2020, 2021, leading up to 2022, lots of big fundamental changes have been going on, well, within us as well, but also externally and in the world around us. Things may have felt very out of control, very unexpected shifts. We may be living an entirely different life right now than we were just like a couple of years ago, or than we ever imagined that we would be. But like, it's not over, and we're just being brought to the point right now where like we're like approaching the launch pad. Okay, and I feel like over the course of this next 6 months, we are really going to be like readying ourselves and getting in position and really preparing to sort of go in a radically new direction. And this cardinal cycle coming up, this Libra cycle coming up, following the period of time when we have Mercury direct. I mean, remember, we are in a massive retrograde energy right now. We have 6 retrograde planets plus Chiron. So like technically like 7 retrograde planets going on right now. So everything that's happening is kind of happening in a very like internalized, subtle, under the surface type of way. But, you know, once we get through October and we have some of these planets start going direct, there's still going to be some hangups. We're still going to have Mars going retrograde in Gemini for a very long time. And that's our action sort of backtracking and maybe like fixing some things in our ego and our behavior, which is going to be a necessary adjustment in order to really be able to attract and magnetize that which we want as we're going through this transformational process as well. But I do think that like for the most part, a lot of these like internalized shifts and transformations that we've been building towards throughout the course of this year, we're going to start stepping into throughout the course of this next 6-month period of time. And, you know, with all of these 2s being indicated, it's September 22nd, 2022, like there's 5 2s right there. 5 is a number of like dynamic shift, dynamic change, like some major changes going on over the course of this period of time that are really helping to realign things for us in a way that is reflective of that which can bring us that sense of like authentic fulfillment and true soul connection and true purpose and stuff like that. And also, you know, if we look at it a different way, September 22nd, 2022, 9/22/22, and it's also interesting, so that's 4 2s, right? And then this is actually happening the exact moment that the sun moves to 0 degrees of Libra and starts discharging our Libra vibe, like the exact moment of our equinox energy. Eastern time, where I'm at, where I'm taking these notes, it's happening at 9:04 p.m. And so, of course, you know, that's going to be different depending on wherever in the world you may happen to be at. But 9/22/22, that's 9/4/2s in Eastern time. It's happening at 9:04 p.m. 9 is a number of sort of like things coming to a culmination and to a completion point and like ending one cycle. And we're talking about these 4 2s. This could also be like, I feel like this is talking about like things that we've been committed to, and also, I mean, this is just in terms of the numerology, but I feel like this is also what all of this retrograde energy and the sun and Mercury coming together at the 1st degree of Venus and what Venus is doing today as well, which we'll get into. But just in terms of the numerology, I feel like this is talking about an end to some type of cycle of commitment that may have been out of alignment with what is authentically true in our heart, like some type of an adherence to an image or an ideal that we are realizing at this point in time is not who we truly are and is never who we've truly been. And maybe the alignment with that is what maybe has been blocking or preventing us from actually being able to go down the path and create the life that we know we're truly looking for, and that can really bring us that sense of fulfillment. I feel like we are entering a phase right now where things that are out of alignment with that truth are going to be dissolving. Yes, this is an action-oriented phase, and we are going to be making changes to begin embodying these transformations in this new reality. But I feel like the other side of this energy is the dissolving of the past identity to which we were adherent to, and the relationships and the circumstances associated with that, if they are no longer conducive to supporting our path of growth at this period of time. Remember, we do have the North Node, destiny, the path ahead, where we're the next phase of our lesson plan in the sign of Taurus, which is the sign of growth based on the seed that we hold within us, the tapping of our organic, natural, original gifts, talent, potential, resources, and growing something with them that can provide something physical, something material, something for abundance or stability or pleasure or comfort somehow in the physical world. So that is really, if I'm going to summarize, I feel like the trajectory that this energy is taking us on. And again, I feel like the numerology on face value is sort of indicating this, with all of these twos, the 5 twos indicating radical change in perhaps relationships, and then the 9 with the 4 twos, 4 representing stability and like sort of like our comfort zone and stuff like that. The 9, this is the end of a cycle of, where we may have been complacent, yet sabotaging our own true happiness. I think that is sort of, like I said, like the overall summary of what this energy is indicating. But let's get into these aspects, you guys. First and foremost, very interesting that we would have our equinox going on the day when we have the sun. Now, this is an interesting transit, okay? And this is, I think, for me personally, I feel like this is kind of rare that we are going to be having the sun and Mercury both coming into a conjunction at 0 degrees of Libra for the equinox. So the sun is moving into the sign of Libra today. When that sun hits 0 degrees of Libra, Mercury is also at 0 degrees of Libra because of Mercury's current retrograde process out of Libra back into Virgo. So the sun is meeting Mercury retrograde, who is still ruling this energy, who is still ruling this cycle. Just because we are having our equinox today, that does not mean that we are out of the Virgo energy. We will not truly be out of this Virgo energy until our new moon in Libra that is coming up on the 25th, which technically actually to me is really more of the midpoint of the year. And we will definitely be looking at that chart as well in the context of what is unfolding over the course of the next 6 months, because the new moon in Aries, when the sun and the moon align in Aries together each year in the spring, that technically is the beginning of our astrological new year, although the moon or the sun simply moving into the sign of Aries is also marking the midpoint in the year in terms of, just even the balance of dark and light. So both of these dates I feel like are specific, but I feel like are significant, but we are in this Virgo energy still until we get to the new moon. And Virgo is, of course, ruled by Mercury. So the ruler of the cycle that we're in, retrograde in this process, coming to 0 degrees of Libra with the sun for the moment of the equinox. And so what I can tell you guys, first of all, today in and of itself, likely to be a very, very busy day. When we have the sun and Mercury coming into conjunction, especially exact conjunction like this is just like lots to do, lots to say, lots to see, like places to be, like busy energy, lots of conversations, just lots of like commotion and ongoings and stuff like that. So today and this next 6 months, I do feel like are going to be a very busy period of time, like perhaps even like busier and more lively and more communicative than we may be accustomed to, or just maybe a little bit above average in terms of the amount of information that is coming in during this period of time. Now, Mercury and the sun are also going to be coming, Something that we have to understand about Mercury in a conjunction to the sun, while this does bring a lot of mercurial energy, a lot of mercurial themes and stuff, according to ancient astrology, this is also like Mercury combust, like Mercury burned in the rays of the sun. And they say when Mercury is burned in the rays of the sun, we are missing a vital piece of information. But the thing about this chart is literally just like a few hours after the exact moment that the sun enters the sign of Libra, while both Mercury and the sun are at that 0 degree point, just a couple minutes off, just a few hours after the sun enters the sign of Libra, they will come to the exact to the minute conjunction and have that Cazimi moment. So we are very, very much in this Cazimi energy during our equinox energy. So when, as opposed to sun combust Mercury, Mercury combust sun, when the sun is, or Mercury is burned in the rays of the sun and we may be missing a vital piece of information, during that period of time when Mercury and the sun are in exact to the minute alignment, this is said to be a moment where we receive some type of profound insight, where things become suddenly clear. And it may just be a brief window period, and then we may sort of lose the context of things again, but for that period of time, when they are, it's called Cazimi, when they are exact to the minute in the degree conjunction, there is a window that opens where we are able to see clearly into whatever's going on and really gain some, like I said, like some profound insight into whatever we are focusing on or whatever we need to know about something, like at this period of time. And with that happening in conjunction with the day of our equinox, I feel like you guys, and Mercury retrograde as well, gaining some vital or crucial information, perhaps in regards to the past or in regards to our own inner nature, or our own inner workings of our mind, with all of this retrograde energy right now. Like some type of like awakening or revelation or greater understanding on some level is definitely bound to come, likely in this energy today with the Cazimi energy, but also representative of that, or as a reflection of that, throughout the course of this next period of time as we are moving from now towards back when the spring equinox happens again. I feel like tons of information and gaining a lot of clarity about stuff. Again, this could pertain to things from the past. This could pertain to things like really going on, like deep root issues that we've had. This is also very much so problem solving energy. There may be some big time solutions to long standing problems coming in over this period of time with this energy as well. And also with Mars also going to be going retrograde throughout this next several months, you know, as we are closing this year out and moving towards the spring equinox next year. Mars being the sign of Gemini, which is also ruled by Mercury, who is in the Cazimi with the sun today. I do feel like definitely resolutions and solutions are going to be presenting themselves in maybe some unexpected ways over this period of time, but they're going to be helping us to like bridge things back together, either within us or in some type of significant way in our lives. Some type of solution, some type of problem, some type of resolution that we may have been dealing with for a while that is going to be gaining some closure somehow. Really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. We are going to gain some crucial insight today and over the next 6 months that causes us to reevaluate what we value, desire, and wish to relate with as well. Remember, this conjunction is happening at 0 degrees of the sign of Libra, which if you guys are new to my channel and you don't already know, one of the types of astrology I do, something I take into consideration when I am doing astrology, is I read what's called the Sabian symbols. And what those are is a group of symbols that describe each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. And whenever there's a planet at a specific degree, you know, making an aspect, we can look to the Sabian symbol, and it just gives us an additional layer of information, symbolic information through which we can sort of interpret whatever's going on with that aspect. And I'm always looking, you know, for the deeper meanings and the symbolism that is going on in association with whatever aspect is playing out, because I feel like it just gives us, you know, a different sort of like lens through which we can view the transit, view the aspect, and just gain some more information. And as a result of that, you guys, when we're looking at Sabian symbols, we're always rounding up a degree. We read the energy that is incoming and not the energy that is waning out and dissipating, because energy moves in waves. And so as a result of that, you know, I say this disclaimer now and then on my channel, but I am rounding up a degree when I am looking at the degree placements in in the context of the Sabian symbols, which I'm basically always looking at them in the context of the Sabian symbols. So I'm usually always rounding up a degree. So even though, we do have the sun, Mercury conjuncting at that critical 0 degrees today, this is also because this is happening at 0 degrees too. 0 degrees is also more of a critical degree in astrology, and it's sort of like the Fool card in tarot. Like, it's about starting a new journey in something. And with the sun and Mercury coming to this Cazimi during Mercury's retrograde as well, I feel like this is also representing like a new sort of like lease on life, that we're getting, like a new way of viewing and understanding like our own presence in the world, a new way of relating to ourselves. We're starting a new cycle of relating to ourselves, I feel like, now basically, and moving throughout this period of time. And as a result of that, I do feel like that is also changing our various relationship dynamics and stuff like that, which we will get into as we get further through this report. But yeah, with this conjunction happening for our equinox with the sun and Mercury at that 0 degrees of the sign of Libra as well. Now we're really going to have to pay attention to what Venus is doing, because she is of course ruling the placement of the sun and Mercury in their conjunction. We'll talk about that in a minute, but this is definitely telling us there is likely to be a much greater emphasis, like I said, on what we value, what we desire, and what we wish to relate to going forward as we are going through this process of beginning a new cycle of relating to ourselves. We're talking about the sign of Libra. This is all about how we relate to ourselves and others. This is what we love, what we desire, what gives us pleasure, just what makes us enjoy life generally when we are dealing with the sign of Libra. And this is Mercury, this is the mind, this is our thoughts, this is our attitude, this is perception, and this is the sun. This is what makes us like thrive and feel alive and rules our consciousness and our character. So we are gaining a very conscious re-understanding, rediscovery of how we are relating to our own selves, beginning a new cycle in that regards, and it has to do with what we value and what we desire moving forward. This can also symbolize over this period of time some big news, informations, or conversations that are seeking to restore justice, resolve, or rebalance things somehow, or bring closure and reconciliation. Libra is also the sign of the scales, justice, reweighing things, peace, harmony, balance. And this is also happening in a loose opposition to Jupiter, which is also about gaining a higher perspective and wisdom and like justice restored and truth. And in the sign of Aries rules our personal truth and our personal motivation, our personal incentive, and like a desire to like take a risk in a new direction based on like this fire that is burning within us, and a desire to sort of like seize the day and experience all life has to offer. Jupiter in the sign of Aries, that's sort of what we're dealing with when we have that vibe going on, juxtaposed to the sun and Mercury in the sign of Libra. And this Mercury retrograde, reevaluation of who we really are, what we really want, what we really need to feel like happy and fulfilled in our life, and what changes also. Mercury also rules choices and decisions and changes, like what changes. And in Libra, the sign of action, a cardinal sign, do we need to make in order to like realign our lives with what we are discovering now? That's what all of this is wrapped up into. And also, you guys, I need to say that whatever's playing out in this energy, things that are coming up, and with the Mercury energy, things from the past that are coming up, there may be something going on that is resurfacing that began happening around July 16th or July 17th in this energy, because that was the last time that we had Mercury and the sun come into their exact Cazimi. Because of Mercury's retrograde process, we're getting another one. And then when Mercury goes direct, we'll get another one. So there may be something that started mid-July that is sort of like a three-pronged process at this point in time. Like maybe we heard about it around the 16th or 17th of July, maybe this week or around, today, like something about that comes back up somehow. And then moving forward within the next, I'll have to look, I'm not exactly sure when this is going to be, but it's not too far out in the future. When Mercury goes direct, Mercury will come through and will hit the conjunction with the sun again. And at that point in time, there may be some like whatever started around the mid-July type of time might be wrapping itself up somehow. But this could definitely be bringing up things that began around that period of time. And again, like this window into insight, gaining some type of understanding just out of nowhere somehow that might be coming. But with these Libra themes, it is ultimately in this period of time too, is trying to lead to some type of rebalancing, justice restored, reconciliation, like things being sorted out somehow for the better. But now we need to talk about the position of Venus, you guys, because this is a little bit tricky. And this can go a couple of different ways, okay? Like, we don't need to look at this through a negative lens, but we do have Venus ruling the position of Mercury retrograde and the Sun in conjunction today, in an almost exact opposition to Neptune in the sign of Pisces. She's in Virgo. She is currently at 23 degrees of Virgo, and we have Neptune at 24 degrees, Neptune retrograde at 24 degrees of Pisces. So this is a tight opposition. Venus and Neptune in harsh aspect, you guys. This aspect is just notorious for bringing disappointment in relationships. And it has a lot to do with us having some very like high ideals, or like over idealizing or over fantasizing, or being very connected or attached to like our highest ideals or fantasies of what we would like in a romantic sense or in a relationship sense or in love, like what we truly desire on these more lofty levels, but then like our reality just not matching up with that and experiencing some type of like really significant disappointment. Has a lot of times we are projecting also like our own personal fantasies on the people in our lives who we are in relationships with, and then when they don't measure up to the like ideals or the standards or the projections that we have for them, this can also be like really painful and cause a lot of disappointment. Neptune dissolves things. Neptune breaks things down. Neptune and Pisces, this is where we sort of fade back into all that is and want to re-merge and connect to like the divine. And also Neptune, Pisces, the 12th house, this can rule loss. And when we're talking about Venus, this rules relationships, this rules finances, this rules how we relate and connect to others. Again, like what we enjoy, what we take pleasure in, material comfort, material abundance. In the opposition to Neptune, there can be some aspect of this that is breaking down, fading away, dissolving over this period of time. Venus also, to me, in a lot of cases, represents our comfort zone. And so there could be an eroding of the things that we are comfortable with, or our long-standing relationship commitments, or some like area of like our finances or something like that over this period of time, or in this energy as well. But you know, we kind of need to understand that we may be experiencing some relationship endings and some relationship breakdowns, and just the like evaporation of previous dimensions of ourselves and ways that we related to others. And it's sort of the flip side of this coin. Like I was saying, like on one hand, this energy is really helping us to start a new cycle in relating to ourselves, and therefore what we wish to relate to externally outside of ourselves. But as a result of that, like the other side of this cycle is needing to detach ourselves and move away and surrender to the like loss essentially of what is no longer in alignment with us, of the relationships and the situations and the circumstances that we've built for ourselves at this point in time based on an adherence to an identity or a facade or an image or a persona that we are realizing right now is just not who we are, is never who we was, is never going to make us happy. And like we can no longer play that role, we can no longer be that person, and everything that was built on that, you know, house of cards or whatever that was in alignment with that this is sort of the breakdown phase, I feel like, coming over this next 6 months. But simultaneously, it's also liberating us in that process to step into this personal truth that we are beginning to embody through this period of time as well, and really begin to move more towards, as we're culminating this 222 energy, resonance within ourselves that helps us be ready to attract and magnetize that externally in our world moving forward. This year, you know, I've been thinking like this 222 year, like I don't know that it's actually bringing us these like divine experiences, divine connections, like soulmate connections and stuff like that, but it's putting us in place, like it's setting us in position, like it's giving us all the tools to make the necessary changes within us that we can step into that reality moving forward. Like I feel like this has been the transitional year that is helping us to come back into a state within ourselves that can attract and create that which really brings us that fulfillment and abundance going forward. It's like universe wouldn't set us up with only like 1 year opportunity where that could happen. It's like this year opportunity is giving us the greater opportunity, or putting us in a place to make like the rest of our lives going forward a reflection of what we gained during this year. So it's helping us to recalibrate our vibration so that going forward, we know how to have that which fills us up. It's not like bringing everything to us like instant manifestation, you know what I mean? But it's putting us in a place where we have the ability to actively co-create what we want going forward based on this greater sense of awareness that we are gaining at this period of time. But anyways, time of disappointment could be in relationships, things dissolving, ending in relationships. Also, though, delusions and distortions and ideals that we've had maybe about the current state of our relationships that we've been in sort of being shattered. I feel like this is like, you know, if we have been refusing to look at something, if we haven't been wanting to see the red flags, if we've been operating under some delusion or illusion of, you know, oh, everything is fine as long as I keep looking in this direction, I feel like this is the energy, or this is the period of time where we're not going to be able to hide anymore from the reality of the situation and sort of just having our illusions about things shattered to one extent. Relationship fantasies and projections that don't translate into reality. That's another, you know, what I was saying can lead to disappointment in this energy. You guys, if you do find yourself like idealizing somebody or wanting to start a relationship, this is, I'm telling you, we have Mercury retrograde conjunct the sun in the first degree of Libra while you have Venus opposite Neptune. Don't do it. I'm not saying just like cut the person off altogether and never talk to them again. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying use a careful eye, be very discerning. Do not jump head first into things, okay, that are not like thoroughly vetted in this energy. Now, on the other hand, there is a, you know, more positive spiritual dynamic of this energy with this Neptune Venus energy. Like, this can also be showing us what our heart and soul truly yearns for, right? Like, this can also be sort of giving us an idea of what it is that we truly want on this more like unconditional heart-based love level. However, we can't expect the people and the situations and our current reality right now to reflect that without us having first gone through the internalized process of healing ourselves, transmuting our lower states, transmuting our ego, aligning with our greater sense of conscious awareness, and, you know, really our authentic truth in terms of what it is that we want and desire and who we really are. Like, unless we are really at a point where we are solid and real with ourselves and healed on some deep levels so that we're not operating out of the subconscious programming and attracting unconsciously reflections of our own unhealed traumas and stuff like that. Like, in that case, like, yeah, you know, maybe this is an okay energy to really start thinking about the types of qualities that we want to experience in the people that we will be relating to going forward. But this is really a terrible time, you guys, to get into any type of relationship. Like, 9.999 relationships that are starting, that are forming in this energy are going to lead to some type of disappointment based on someone being in delusion about something, like someone having manipulated somebody else or hypnotized them in one way or another. This is just not, it's just not going to pan out. It's just not going to be the best. So our best option, our best bet in this energy is just to not do it and to just be very discerning about the relationships that we are getting involved in at this period of time, to view everything with great discretion and reconsider and reevaluate relationship connections. Like, that is what I feel about this with the Mercury Sun first degree of Libra equinox energy over this next period of time. And this goes, you know, this stands to me like over the course of this next 6 months as well. Like I was just saying about this 2-2-2-year energy, like what I feel like it's doing for us. Like, I don't feel like it's like putting our soulmate in front of our face or anything like that. I feel like it's helping us to adjust our internal frequency in a way that moving forward we can attract something that is a much better match for us. But we are only halfway through this year. We're only halfway through this process. We have all these retrograde planets and now this Libra energy and Venus opposite Neptune. Like, we're not ready yet, you guys. Like, I mean, I can't speak for everyone because we're all on totally different, you know, everybody's on a totally different like timeline trajectory for when these shifts and when these changes are happening. You know, some people it's happening now, some people it's happening like several lives from now, but you know, eventually over the course of this next 2,000 years and stuff, like this is the direction that everybody is heading because this is what is being activated in the collective blueprint at this point in time. But just right now, you guys, like I don't recommend it, okay? Like, no matter how wonderful and fantastical and like dream come true, it might seem like things are a bit maybe too good to be true in this energy, and we just sort of want to cool it a little bit. And like I said, if it's the real deal, you guys, then no one will have a problem sort of waiting it out a little bit and taking it slow and not jumping in and not making commitments. Like, if there's like, it needs to happen now for one reason or another, like, it's probably not real anyways, because anything that is real is going to be lasting, and whatever is meant for you, you can't lose. And you certainly can't lose over, pumping the brakes a little bit during 6-7 planets retrograde and Venus opposite Neptune, while the Sun and Mercury are conjoined at the 1st degree of Libra. Like, you can't lose what's meant for you, and we need to pump the brakes at this period of time. So that is my little discourse there on how I feel about relationship energy that is playing out as these dynamics are hitting, and over the course of this remainder of this year as we are heading towards next spring equinox. Again, I will reiterate, because it's written in my notes, we can feel very disappointed if relationships, beauty, money, comfort, do not reflect our fantasies or ideals. Venus in Virgo right now as well. It's another thing. Like, we need to consider Venus's position in the sign of Virgo. What resources can we cultivate or harvest, the sign of the harvest, within us to create abundance in our lives instead of fantasizing about it? What changes can we make to give ourselves what we really want? Where can we sort of take our power back from needing other people's assistance and other people's help and other people's validation and whatever everybody else has got going on? Like, where can we sort of take our ideals and like reapply them to ourselves? Where can we take those projections, those fantasies that we may have for other people and what they can do for us and how our life will change by being with them, and sort of turn that inwards? And like I said, this is Virgo, Venus in Virgo. This is the sign of the harvest. This is the sign of refining things. This is the sign of like taking something and bringing it into its greatest form of like beauty and refinement and functionality as well, like purposefulness and functionality. Like, what resources can we discover within us at this period of time that we can harvest to create abundance in our lives, instead of feeling like we're empty if we don't have like a certain relationship? I think that is more so a better, more positive way to utilize this energy, really cultivating the relationship to ourselves. And remember, North Node in Taurus as well. Like, and there's a reason why I bring this up so much, you guys, why there's always such an emphasis on like, and what can we do with it to stabilize ourselves? Because we are going through a transition of ages right now. Over this period of time as well, we really may see some like societal breakdown and stuff like that, as the matrix of the past paradigm and the structures that have existed within it begin to collapse in terms of, and break down and dissolve, on a governmental rulership type of level. We got some major changes coming also on an economic and financial level. And anywhere that we can be just a little bit more resourceful or a little bit more self-sufficient is really going to benefit us in the long run, both in terms of us being able to stay optimistic and hopeful and gain that intrinsic value of what we are creating for ourselves, and the empowerment that gives us, and the ability that gives us to like stay out of a place of fear, and also just in any little way that it can offset what may be more like challenging times in our physical 3D reality. So there's some real significant purpose to this at this point in time. I'm not just like saying this, because it sounds like a good thing to do. Like, there's actually purpose within it that may really have some tangible benefits for us going forward. We may go through this process and not really understand why we're doing it at the time, but look back, when some of these skills may come in handy and be like, oh, thank God, I did that, because if this would have happened just a couple years ago when I didn't have that skill, or I didn't know I could do that, like, I don't know what I would have done. Little things could come in big handy in ways that we wouldn't expect. And this is just a period of time where we are being called through this whole process to find those little things within us and begin to develop them. And I think that's a good way to use this energy, instead of trying to get in a relationship with someone else right now. This is all also about, has a lot to do with the polarity, the dynamic between self and others. First degree of Libra, all about relationships, all about relating to others, but also the consciousness, the sun, the self, right? And Mercury, our mindset and all of that, but also opposing, like I said, Jupiter in the sign of Aries as well. We're talking about the Libra Aries axis. This is about self and others, personal truth. Jupiter in the sign of Aries, this expansive version of personal truth and the impact that it has on how we are relating to ourselves and others going forward. That is what this period of time is representing. And with Venus in the opposition to Neptune as well, confusion or disorientation perhaps about that same dynamic at this period of time. Like, who I'm becoming now, like how does that impact my relationships? Like how does that impact my career? Like how does that impact this, that, or the other area of my life when I am, gaining this new relationship to myself and I'm discovering these different values and I'm no longer, willing to, engage in like this or in that other thing over there. Like what changes is this going to make for me? And, perhaps being in a state of confusion about how to navigate this process. Or like I said earlier, it could be showing us those higher octaves of our heart and what we truly yearn for on that like emotional soul level with Venus and Neptune reflecting off of each other as well, and how our reality does not match up to that, and perhaps what changes need to go on and what we need to release ourselves from in order to make our physical reality embody those ideals that we perhaps are reflecting on in this energy as well. Another aspect that we have playing out today, and this is a more minor aspect, but when I was looking at the chart, I was just like, I feel like we need to talk about this. The moon for our equinox energy today is actually in a yod with Pluto and Neptune, a finger of God, with the moon as like the apex of that. And to me, I feel like, again, like on an emotional level, this is talking about transforming and releasing past emotional states associated with whatever clarity we are gaining or whatever we're discovering, whatever insight we are gaining at this period of time as we move through this energy. And also I feel like this is talking about harnessing the power of our own thoughts and emotions to help move us forward in a direction where we may have not had the strength to do so before. I feel like we are gaining some emotional strength and willpower and fortitude as well as a part of this process, ultimately gaining a clarity or awareness that empowers us on an emotional level to harness our will to move on to something new that feeds our soul. Like I feel like that's sort of like the blanket statement, I guess, or like the thesis statement for this equinox energy. We're creating a new reality for ourselves, but part 2 of this year is about embracing a fresh perspective and moving forward with this greater sense of self-confidence, self-empowerment, and just like willpower that we're coming to like propel us in this new direction. I want to talk about the Sabian symbols for a minute too, you guys, before I talk about the tarot message that came through. First of all, the Sabian symbols, like I was talking about earlier, these are symbols describing each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac, and they just give us some more information through which we can interpret the aspects. 1 degree of Libra, where the sun and Mercury are coming to this conjunction via Sabian symbol placement. That Sabian is a butterfly made perfect by a dart through it. It reminds me of that quote, a mind that is stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions. Like the butterfly that is made perfect by a dart through it. Butterfly representing this transformation, air element of the mind. I feel like this is saying these transformations that have gone on in our mind, like we're not going back. Like however our mind is being stretched and expanded and transformed, in this energy and over this next period of time is the new status quo, is the new reality, is the new, like it cannot go back to the old dimensions. Like we're staying this way. I feel like is being indicated through the degree placement where the sun is and where Mercury is today for this equinox energy as it's playing out. Now, of course, that is always the first degree of Libra energy where we are at on our equinox, but just Mercury being there today, ruling the Virgo cycle that we're in, I feel like this is, extra significant. I also want to talk about the positions of the Earth, always in a polar opposition to the sun, as well as Uranus, who is really ruling our energetic transition into the age of Aquarius. They are very similar in the symbolism that is being like discharged by these degrees. The position of the Earth today, what's happening on the ground, a woman just risen from the ocean, a seal is embracing her. And then we have Uranus retrograde at 19 degrees of Taurus. A new continent is rising from the ocean. So the position of the Earth today, which again on the fall equinox. This is always the position of the Earth at 1 degree of Libra, but in the context of Uranus's position as well, this 222 year, our transition to the age of Aquarius, Uranus ruling the age of Aquarius, also in a square to Saturn right now. And both of these symbols specifically talking about something rising from the ocean, ascending out of the unconscious and a reality dominated by emotional responses and reactions, right? Out of the ocean, out of the water, out of the waves, out of a world that was dominated by this emotional state, the emotional reactions, the emotional responses, the water energy, gaining a conscious understanding and control over our mind, emotions, and experiences going forward. Rising out of the ocean, coming into the air. The woman is rising out of the ocean as well. Very interesting. Emotional self-empowerment through conscious awareness, motivating movement. I feel like this is describing, and again, directly related to our energetic shift, recalibration collectively into the age of Aquarius right now. Venus and Neptune in their polarity today. Venus at 23 degrees of Virgo, a lion tamer rushes fearlessly into the circus arena. Neptune at 24 degrees of Pisces, an inhabited island. An island is also a body of land that has risen out of the ocean, right? Interesting correlation there as well. But I feel like this polarity, these two planets at these degrees are talking about a need to conquer false fears and survival related issues. We have the skills and the resources that we need to thrive, and we need to recognize those within us, not allow any fears about not having enough or not being enough to be controlling how we are moving through this energy. Remember, we are rising out of the ocean. We are changing, we are transforming, we are gaining a new perspective and a new mindset that is beginning a new cycle of relating to our own selves and therefore to the reality around us. And we can't allow unrealistic fears that have not manifested and worries and doubts and insecurities to keep us from stepping foot into this new reality. We need to conquer these and realize that a lot of them, many of them, Venus opposite Neptune, are illusions or delusions that aren't even anything that will ever step foot into a practical reality. And we do have the skills and resources within us that we need to thrive. That inhabited island has everything that it needs within it so that the population there, it's inhabited so that the population can survive and thrive. And that's us also going forward, moving through this energy. Lastly, I actually want to talk about the degree of the moon. I don't normally get to talk about the degree of the moon because it moves so quickly, but since we are looking at the exact moment of the equinox chart today, we have an exact moon degree, and the moon will be at 27 degrees of Leo for this equinox chart today. And that Sabian symbol 27 Leo is daybreak, the luminescence of dawn in the eastern sky. So again, this is representing, you know, although there may be things falling away, this is representing a fresh start for us. Also this fresh cycle of relating and understanding with the sun, Mercury, Cazimi at that 0 degrees, a new beginning in how we relate to and think about ourselves and the world, and therefore a new beginning, a new journey, a new experience in our own reality, embodying this new truth that we are coming to. So over this period of time, you guys, that's what I feel like is going on. It is like I've said, like we are starting a new cycle of relating to ourselves that is going to bring us down a road of so much greater fulfillment. It's just, we need to be able to conquer also any fears of loss during this time that may prevent us from moving in that direction. Let's talk about the tarot for a minute, you guys. We got a very brief and to the point tarot message that came out today, but it is profound and powerful nonetheless. We only got one card coming out of the deck. I did the same thing I always do, you guys. Shuffled 3 times, asking for all the information symbolically that we need to interpret what we could perhaps expect over this period of time. We got one card coming out, and that one card coming out was the Chariot. The Chariot, you guys, this is a card about harnessing our emotional energy, harnessing our willpower to move forward in a direction. It's also about balancing the polarities within us so that we can come to a point of like getting everything working together to make forward progress moving forward. This is about, again, reconciling energy that keeps us off balance or being pulled in multiple directions so that we can really get focused on and motivated and use our willpower to steer us forward, direct us in a new direction. This is major arcana as well. This is significant, you guys. Like, We're coming back to a place of internalized wholeness based on a recognition of that which truly motivates us and that which we wish to go after and attain in this energy. Back of the deck, we had the Ace of Swords upright coming through as a result of some type of new insight, some type of fresh perspective, epiphany, clarity, awakening, some type of truth that is hitting us, some type of divine insight that is coming, that is making things crystal clear about the direction that we want to move, and we are feeling very self-empowered to propel ourselves forward in that direction. Chariot is also associated with Cancer energy. This is telling me again that this emotional energy, the moon in the yod with Neptune and Pluto, the sense of there's like an emotional sense of self-empowerment that is motivating us and propelling us forward based on some clarity and insight we gain over this period of time. And then right under that on the back of the deck, you guys, we have the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, towards this trajectory in alignment with that which can really bring us some long lasting emotional and physical tangible fulfillment, 360 degrees, like across the board in our lives. We are gaining some inspiration, some understanding, a new mindset, a new attitude, a new perspective, a new way of relating to ourselves and our own mind and our own emotional energy that is giving us the fuel to move forward with some tenacity, some willpower, and some endurance and some like steadfastness in this new direction towards attaining what it is that we truly want on like a heart and soul based level, with this energy happening in the sign of Libra. It's moving into this Libra season as well. So that is what we got to say in terms of the astrology, in terms of the tarot. Let's grab one more card now, you guys. Synchronicity card, God, Spirit, Universe. What message do we need to know? What additional piece of guidance can benefit us as we are moving through this period of time? We've got one flying onto the floor, and it says, you will be guided. And I do feel like at this period of time, this is what we need to know as we are on the brink of this Libra cycle and about to start taking some action and making some changes moving forward. You will be guided, sent his angel to show the things which shortly must be done. Revelation 22:6. Shortly you will be shown the direction you should take. The way will open up for you to move forward. Seize the opportunity that comes to you. Know you are being divinely guided. Listen to the voice within. So that's what this is, you guys. This is us tapping into our own divine guidance, gaining this understanding, gaining this insight about ourselves to start this new cycle of self-relation that is helping us to make some choices and decisions to move ourselves forward in a new direction. And we are going to really, I feel like, have a good idea what, more clearly we need to do moving through this energy. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. Our equinox chart, our equinox report. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you just a little bit of whatever you may be looking for as you navigate this energy today or over this next 6 months period of time. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Just hit that subscribe button right down below. It's totally free. It will literally take you a second, and it really helps my channel to grow. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Leave me comments, you guys. I love your comments too. I seriously appreciate each and every one of you. I'm so grateful for your presence here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social medias. Those are in my description box below if you're into any of that. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We've got some more big astrology coming at us throughout the course of this week. We've got a new moon coming up. We've got some more big energy coming up the day after that. And I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And I will see you then, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Until next time. Bye, guys.